Hello! We're here to talk about the new Arctic Monkeys album, Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino. So, quick background, Arctic Monkeys, huge band from England, started in 2006 with their indie rock sound, very harsh, very hard hitting, fast paced. This is what the band was known for. Their first album really concerned what they were like as youths growing up in the streets of Sheffield. Their frontman Alex Turner writes all the songs for Arctic Monkeys, and we've sort of seen the songwriting evolve as he's grown as a person. So back in 2006, he was getting a lot of fights in Sheffield nightclubs, getting chased by the police, and the songs reflected that, and it really captured the youth. This was an album. I was about 16 when it came out, and a lot of people really identified with it. And we've sort of grown up with this band, so they've grown over the years. They've had a lot of success. Their first album, in fact, all their albums have gone to number one in the UK charts. So they've gone from these lads from Sheffield into nowadays they just live in LA and they live this very luxurious life on the beach, suntans and all that. So as a result, as from this growth that we've seen in Alex Turner, we now see the band's gone in a different direction. And the last album was a bit more mature. It's very polished. It resonated well with the fans, but this new album, Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino, has been a very controversial one. A lot of people don't really know what to make of it. It takes the band in a very different direction. So I think it's sort of counted as lounge pop, so it's very gentle, very piano driven. There aren't the surging bass lines and the hard hitting drumming that we'd hear on an earlier Arctic Monkeys album. So the concept which explains this is that the Arctic Monkeys are now a band in space. They're based on the moon. So Tranquility Base is related to the original moon landing by Neil Armstrong. So in the Arctic Monkeys version of the future, Alex Turner imagines that the moon is now a gentrified sort of hipster paradise, and in Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino, the Arctic Monkeys have set up as the house band, and they're playing very gentle, sort of loungy, like sort of maybe like lift music in a way. Like that's what some people would criticise it would call it, and it's just very gentle. It's a very different direction, and because Arctic Monkeys is very much a reflection on Alex Turner, we sort of see where he wants to go with it. And this album is probably most similar to his solo EP that he released in 2011 called Submarine, which was very acoustic, very stripped back, very sort of gentle progressions. It was quite piano driven as well, quite gentle drumming. And we sort of see this reflected in this new Tranquility Base album. And a lot of people don't like it, and I understand it's a big divide from what people would expect from an Arctic Monkeys album. I mean, especially another reason why people aren't happy is that they recently went on tour. So they've announced this big tour, and people are expecting like stadium feeling, like stadium rock, like a bit more akin to the last album, and instead we've got something a bit gentler. I saw someone on Twitter say something like, well, I'm glad I've got sitting for the concert, because then I could just sit down during the new songs, which are very like chilled. And I think it's always unusual when a band changes the direction. I think the biggest example, of course, is from recent times is when Radiohead released Kid A, and they went from guitar rock to just very like gentle and really interesting electronic music, and that was a huge shift. A lot of people didn't like it at the time, but in time it's been regarded rightly as one of their best albums. But I don't think this will be like that. I don't think that this is really engaging enough on a personal level, for me at least, to really be an album that in a few years' time we sort of regard as a forgotten classic of the time. I do sort of see this as like a 6 out of 10. It's pretty decent. There's some good stuff. It does get better the more you listen to it. I think on first listen I didn't really get it. I've only listened to it twice at this point. It came out today, but I don't really see it so far as a sort of album that will really be looked back on as a defining moment in the Arctic Monkeys' career. A lot of people do like it. I do appreciate the sort of the balls it took to go in this new direction, because it's never easy, especially when you've got a fan base that's as established and mature as Arctic Monkeys. I mean, these people grew up on them. I mean, I've never been like super into them, but they've been there throughout my youth, and if I was like extremely big fan and I was there the whole time, and they've just suddenly dramatically changed their sound, I can see why people would be alienated. But I mean, another recent example is when Tame Impala went from their guitar sort of roots to like disco, and that was a fantastic record. That was incredible. I much prefer it to the early Tame Impala stuff, and because that was just really creative, really innovative. It was like disco, but it was still rock at the same time. I don't see this for the Arctic Monkeys album either. I sort of just see it as it's a good project. It's an interesting listen. I can't really see any big singles coming out from it, which again, that's fine. You don't need big singles to make a good album, but on a personal level, I don't really connect to it. It's a bit too downbeat and doesn't really go anywhere too imaginative, apart from the imagination it took to take the band this new direction. But I mean, Alex Turner, he knows what he's doing. He's got a very strong fan base, so I could see people getting to know this album a bit better. And like I said, if I give this a few more listens, I might get to know it and enjoy it a bit more than I already have. But so far for me, I think it's just a bit above average for me. It's okay. It's about 6 out of 10 really. It's alright.